Hi, hello, welcome back to today's video. It's a reading vlog. As you can tell by the title, we're here trying to collect as many Goodreads awards as we can for the Spring Challenge, which is April 1st through June 30th. I read a lot of books in this video. I'm filming this intro later because I don't like the original one that I filmed. You're gonna see me read a lot of different books and a lot of different genres, and I'm so excited for you guys to see all my thoughts and opinions. I feel like this reading vlog is gonna be super fun. I've been filming this reading vlog for almost over a month, so I'm so excited for you guys to see the finished product and to see me talking about all these different books. Let's just get into it. So yesterday I started The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't know if that's how you would say his name, I'm not entirely sure. But I did today get about 50 pages in. I just finished part 1 where we're introduced to Alicia and Theo. Theo just got the job at the psych ward that Alicia is in. I actually don't know anything about this book. I just saw that this was one of the books within, and I had recently grabbed it from my mom's friend's house, and I was like, why not? It seems like a little short and sweet read. It's only about 300 pages, so I'm excited to get through this. I think we'll do maybe like 3 or 4 books for this video and see where we can, how many bookmarks we can knock off. Forgive me for the horrible lighting. There's just no good lighting. I finished The Silent Patient yesterday. This is the first book I read trying to complete as many bookmarks on Goodreads as I possibly can. This one was my community picks. I honestly didn't really film myself reading it because I kind of quickly gobbled it up on my drives. I got the audiobook after a couple days. I gave this book 3.75 stars. It honestly just started dragging in the middle, and I really didn't care for a big chunk of this story because it just wasn't gripping me. But towards the end, I definitely was interested in what was happening. Not as much as I was in the beginning. Honestly, in the beginning, I was really interested in what was going on, and I wanted to keep picking the book back up. But towards the end, I wanted to know what happened, and I definitely was like eager to find out what happened. But when I had to pause, I wasn't like, oh, what happens next? Like, I kind of just forgot about it and went about my day. It was more of a mystery than it was like a thriller, like a psychological thriller. It definitely felt like it had those elements just because of the setting of being in a psych ward just kind of seems creepy. Right away in the opening of this book, we find out that Alicia is super in love with Gabriel, and she keeps a diary or a journal as a means to get over a lot of hardships that she's felt in her life. After she shoots Gabriel, she's just silent. She doesn't speak for a very, very, very long time. And then we meet Theo. And Theo is a psychotherapist that really wants to work with Alicia and save Alicia and explain her side, explain what happened, etc., etc. Things start to unravel, and there's a lot of things that are revealed throughout the book that end up kind of circling back. And without saying too much, it's really interesting the way that we wrap up the story and how we tie everything back into each other. I definitely didn't see the outcome that occurred being the outcome. I had many theories going on throughout the whole novel. They definitely point you in a couple different directions, but I really enjoyed it. It was quick. It was a quick read. There's only about 300 pages. Right away, I was interested in seeing Theo meet Alicia, and then once Theo did meet Alicia, it kind of just started to drag on and on and on. But after a couple of things were revealed, it definitely started getting more interesting, and I really wanted to find out what was happening. So 3.75 stars. First bookmark done, community pick done. On to the next. I have some books to talk about because while I was on vacation, I did not film a thing. So far in this video, you've seen me earn 2 medals. The second book I have not quite talked about yet, which was Just Friends by Haley Pham. I did not have high hopes for this book, only because I felt like there was a lot of discourse when it first got published. Things of like, oh, should Haley have even written a book, blah, blah, blah. And like all these like kind of really mean reviews that were just hating. And I loved it. I ate it up so fast. I feel like the banter between the main characters was great. I feel like the way Blair was handling her grief made a lot of sense, and the way that we described a lot of things, the act of dying, was very realistic. There was one point in this book where Blair is kind of just like, well, I still don't know if I'm going back to New York, so like, even though all of her problems were already resolved, and so like going back to New York honestly did not make any sense for her. That one got me because I felt like Haley was doing a fantastic job of making sure that the conflicts and everything were true conflicts, and none of them were like, we're just not gonna talk about this, and like those really dumb things that happen in most romance books. So I feel like Haley was doing a fantastic job of staying away from that and keeping it very realistic. But then that one line kind of really got me, where I was like, oh, come on, Haley, you were doing so good. And then at the very, very end, there's like 2, maybe 3 things that are mentioned in the book that like honestly just weren't brought back around full circle and like wrapped up with a bow. Like in the middle of this book, Calvin, I think is his name, comes into the coffee shop and asks for Blair's number and asks to take her on a date basically, or like to text her to take her on a date or something like that. And he never texted her, literally ever. And then we just forgot that it ever happened. And like, that's really not that big of a deal. It's a super minuscule detail. It just, like, I was just surprised that why mention that whole scene at all. Like, I understand why the scene was mentioned, but to not bring it back around and have him at least text her and her like shoot him down or something, like it was just, now it's open-ended. I don't know. That's my only 2 like real issues with this book. Otherwise, I really liked it a lot. I read it super fast. I think like 2 or 3 days, and that's why I'm pretty sure you see Jordan say this, but that's why we don't really talk about it. Because I even forgot to make updates. And when I was thinking about recording updates, I'm not comfortable recording in front of other people yet. Like, Jordan is the max of my capabilities to record in front of someone. So to think about recording in front of my whole boyfriend's family was stressful. Just Friends gave me the AAPI Heritage bookmark. Okay, so right now I'm working on 2 more medals. One with Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. This is her debut novel, and it's honestly so interesting. It's about a woman, Natalie, who becomes a internet sensation for her very traditionally valued home on a farm with a big family, her husband doing all of this farm work, her taking care of all these children. But behind the scenes, it's a little bit darker. She has a couple of nannies that she doesn't ever show about. She has some farm hands behind the scenes that are doing a bunch of things. Her super organic traditional life isn't as pretty as it seems. Basically showing like the dark side of social media, how you post your highlight reels and how really terrible you could be and how you could totally hide that. And it goes into quite a spiral. And then one day, Natalie wakes up and all of a sudden we are in a different time period. Like, she went into the past and these kids are not her kids, but they're kind of her kids, and her husband's kind of her husband, but not really her husband. And the house is her house, but not really her house. She's just very confused, and she's kind of forced to live in these genuine traditional ways, like they don't have any plumbing. They have to go fetch the water. There's no water heater. There's no air conditioning. And it's showing how she deals with that. When you go through, even in the very first chapter, it's very obvious to us as the reader that her internal voice is very, very narcissistic. But it makes it so interesting because every interaction that she's having with people, she is imagining them being, well, not even imagining, she fully believes that everyone is jealous of her life, envious of all the stuff that she has, and like that their life is a trap and the working woman is silly and like all this stuff. I'm about 30% through. I'm on page 136, chapter 19. And so far we've been going through her college days and how she met her husband. And honestly, I didn't think she was gonna have the feelings about her husband as she does right now, because in the very opening scenes, she very much loves her husband. And then going through college and her getting married, you kind of learn that she maybe had some other thoughts about him. So far, I really am enjoying it. At first, it was a little slow, and the character is genuinely so unlikable that I didn't really want to keep reading, but it's starting to pick up. I'm very interested. Her college days are really keeping me interested. So that is my update for that, and I will check back in, but this will get me the Escapist Reads medal. And then the other book that I'm currently working on, I'm very, very not far. I had to start over because I was very confused. I'm reading Dune, and that would get me the Marathon Reader medal. If you don't know Dune, I can't help you because I don't really know anything either. I started it on the last hour of our drive up north, but I was having a hard time focusing and I really didn't know what was going on kind of at all. So yesterday I restarted it, and now I have a better grasp of what's going on a little bit. I did kind of start zoning out again towards another part, so I might have to back it up a little bit more. But we're getting through, we're starting it. That'll pick up more when I start going to work because it's my audiobook and I listen to it while I drive, and I haven't really been driving anywhere since I've been on vacation. So, but yeah, so far it's interesting. I'm currently at the part where I don't know who this man is, but him and his like right hand man or whatever he is are talking about the Duke and the Duke's son and trying to fill his son in on these politics so that, I don't know, that's the part that I started zoning out on. I don't really know what's going on there. I think the son's name is either Ethan or John or something, and yeah, I honestly have no idea, but I'll check back when I understand what's going on with it. Tiny blanket. Okay, let's freaking finish yesteryear, shall we? It's super vibey outside because it's really rainy. Also, we're not gonna judge my hair. Okay? I need to shower. And I don't feel like doing anything with it. I want to stop wearing it up because I wear it up for work all the time. So, I'm ill. Let's finish. I really hope that the mom realizes that, okay, I still have no idea where this is going, so I could eat my words, but I really hope the mom realizes that this is kind of some of her doing. Like, I just read a line where the mother is going to a new church, and
Natalie is very concerned from this. She's like, what do you mean a new church? You've been going to the same one my whole life. And she's talking about the pastor and how he feels very strongly that gays should feel welcome just like anyone else. And Natalie was like, very like, what? Like, are you going to add your own opinion to this? Because obviously you don't share the same sentiment. And her mom is just like, his arguments are compelling. Like, she's coming around to the idea her mother is open to new possibilities. And I hope that the mother, I don't even know the mother's name, I hope she realizes that she's the reason her daughter's so strongly, like, trad, to be honest. But I'm so curious as to where this is going. Now I think she actually was kidnapped. Ugh, I don't know. Oh, by the way, I have 130, 120 pages left. That was dramatic. Are we still going? That was so long. It's still going. I don't know who I'm not supposed to trust. Because now I feel like she's a victim. You know, when I started this book, I really thought that maybe it would be like when she goes back into the previous timeline, that she just had to learn that she was being like a very selfish person and like very narcissistic. And once she figured out that she's no longer like once she could live without being narcissistic, then she could go back and like change her ways. But I feel like that's not the case anymore. I don't know. Hold on, I need a new blanket. This one is not big enough. I'm freezing. Okay. I fear my hair is getting frizzy. Bigger blanket acquired. Back to reading.
have to say I was very disappointed with the ending. I gave this book 3.5 stars. I thought the whole story was so good until the end. I was so expecting such a plot twist, or I don't know, but I feel like the ending was very much just like what you would expect. Like, it just was. And that was really disappointing to me. I don't know. So I did give this book 3.5 stars. I definitely would read something else by Claire. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Carol Clare. I think she did a wonderful job with this being her debut novel. The voice of the main characters, it was very interesting how I was kind of rooting for Natalie, but at the same time I understood that Natalie was very problematic. And yeah, it was, I don't know, I don't really have much else to say about that. It was what it was. Next up, this book I literally just finished. I was listening to it. I just finished it. All 21 hours of this book. And I have to say, I have no idea how I feel for Dune by Frank Herbert. I don't know. 21 hours for an audiobook. There's 600 something pages. I was just so confused. So freaking confused by this book. It took me over a month. I started this May 17th and it is now June 19th. I have no idea what happened. I understand very basic premises of it. The ending was very interesting. I'm confused, but also intrigued as to what happened, because that was kind of a cliffhanger. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't even know how to give a review of this book because I don't know what happened. To be honest, I'm probably gonna give it a 3. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3. Because even though I had no idea what was going on, I still very much wanted to come back to this story and read the story. So that's telling you something. I'm just gonna read the back. I know I've already read the back on here, but set on a desert planet Arrakis, Dune is the story of the boy Paul Atreides, who would become known as Muad'Dib, and of a great family's ambition to bring a fruition humankind's most ancient and unattainable dream. Like, what is that dream? I couldn't even tell you here. I don't know. All I know is that Paul and Jessica, I don't even know what spoilers. I can only, okay, I'm just gonna put when I'm done talking about certain things because I don't know what spoilers and I don't know what isn't spoilers. All I know is that in the opening of the book, Paul has to stick his hand in this box and all of a sudden his hand is on fire and in pain because this box is like making his nerves angry or something, and it's to make sure that he's not an animal and that he's actually human. And it's considered the Gonjabar test because this woman also has a knife or a needle, and the very, very tip of the needle has some poison on it called the Gonjabar. And then all of a sudden Jessica is framed for being a traitor, but the Duke doesn't believe that, and he never thought that Jessica was a traitor, and he tells Paul this, and then the Duke passes or gets killed, and then Paul and Jessica end up randomly at a different planet or somewhere, and the people think that they're dead, and then they're not dead, and then many years pass, and I'm so confused. I really don't know. I really don't know. 3 stars. It was all right. I'm excited to watch the movie so that I can potentially understand what's going on. Thank you for joining me in today's video. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you made it this far, comment down below how many of your own Goodreads bookmarks were you able to collect for this spring challenge. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I definitely could see myself doing this one again. I had a lot of fun trying to collect all the bookmarks. So other than that, thanks for watching. Bye.